Hi, my name is Terry, and you're watching Terry Tells the Story. In biology, there's a concept called environmental selection. It suggests that the resilience of a species is directly tied to the demands of its habitat. When an environment becomes too stable, the biological drive to adapt begins to decline. Today, I want to look at how the modern American landscape has created a unique physiological profile compared to the rest of the world. In many parts of the world, such as the Philippines, Thailand, or even Puerto Rico, most homes don't even have air conditioning. In these regions, the human body is forced to perform its natural role, thermoregulation. This is the body's internal engine, working to keep you cool when it's hot outside. These populations live in a state of high metabolic engagement, meaning their bodies are constantly working out just to handle the weather. In the United States, however, life is lived in a climate-controlled bubble. From the home, to the car, to the office, the temperature is kept at a permanent artificial comfort level. Because the body is never challenged by the heat, the biological systems responsible for cooling you down stay idle. We often see the results of this during heat waves in the United States, where people die at record rates in temperatures that a man from Bangkok would consider a nice afternoon. It suggests that the American body has become specialized for a world that exists only indoors. Outside the U.S., being able to speak 2 or 3 languages isn't a special skill. It's a basic requirement. In countries like Germany and Russia, students often begin learning a second or even third language as early as elementary school, making fluency a standard part of their development. Similarly, in Puerto Rico, students are immersed in both English and Spanish from the time they're babies. This creates cognitive elasticity, the brain's ability to switch between different systems and solve problems from different angles. In the US, most people live in a one-language world. Without the daily need to use different languages, the brain doesn't develop that specific level of mental flexibility that is common in Europe and elsewhere. While the rest of the world is building a brain that can adapt to change, the American mental experience remains much more limited and static. Now, it's important to note that a lack of physical demand does not mean that the American life is easy. In fact, from a socioeconomic standpoint, Americans live in one of the most high-pressured environments in the developed world. Between a hostile housing market, lack of health care, low levels of trust in their government, and a demanding job culture, the American stress load is incredibly high. However, because the physical environment is designed to remove all resistance, the mental stress doesn't translate to physical strength. It leads to a population that is psychologically exhausted, but physically atrophied. While individual physical resilience may be lower, the American environment is world-class at moving resources during a crisis. The United States has a specialized ability to coordinate massive emergency responses, high-speed supply chains, and advanced medical tech faster than almost any other nation on the planet. In a disaster, much of the world relies on their own bodies to survive. The U.S. has built a massive high-speed machine that brings the solution to your door. Finally, we look at the threshold for comfort. In many countries, minor physical friction is managed through internal resilience. In the United States, there is a pharmaceutical infrastructure for every minor deviation from perfect comfort. The data reflects this. Despite making up less than 5% of the global population, Americans consume roughly 80% of the world's opioid supply and similarly disproportionate shares of antidepressants and anti-anxiety medications. This isn't because they are sicker. It's because they have been conditioned to believe that any level of natural friction is a medical emergency that requires a pill. We often view these developments as luxuries. But as a matter of academic curiosity, we have to ask, at what point does total comfort lead to total dependency? When you remove every physical challenge from a world, even while making the social and economic world harder, do you create a better society? Or do you just create one that can no longer survive without its machines? Something to think about when you're sitting in your AC today. But the Spanish I'm going to be teaching you is La comodidad es la cuna. La comodidad es la cuna. And what that means is the comfort is the cradle. If you liked this video or you learned something new from it, drop a like down below. If you have a specific topic that you'd like to see me cover, drop me a comment. And if you'd like to support this work that I do, there'll be a link to the Cash App in the description box below. We'll see you next time.